Clarification. That's what we have in activity 18. Clarification. Asking for clarification. How many syllables do you hear in this word? Clarification. 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 5. Do you hear 5? Okay, let's clap it. Clarification. Clarification. Good. Can you tell me which syllable is stressed? 3 or 4? Okay, watch me. If it's 3, it's like this. Clarification. If it's 4, it's like this. Clarification. Which one is correct? Show me. Clarification. Show me. Clarification. Clarification. Okay, some of you are just smiling and jumping up, but you're not saying the word. So I wonder if you can speak at the same time as you jump up. Can you try that? Clarification. Much better. Okay. So remember, use your body to help you with pronunciation. Because when you learn pronunciation, it's kind of like singing. You know, you have to move your body in order to make the words come out. And in order to make the words stressed and longer and higher, your body can help you with that. So one thing we do is to clap the syllables of clarification, right? We can feel how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for clarification. And another thing we do is rise on the stressed syllable. Clarification. Now, clarification is, a noun, verb, adjective, or adverb. What part of speech is this word? Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adjective? Or is it an adverb? It's a noun. Anything that ends with ion, like shun, okay, that's going to be a noun. And if it ends with ation, it means the action of doing something that's in the root part of the word. So the root part of the word is clarify, and that's the verb, to clarify. C-L-A-R-I-F-Y. Write it down. How do you spell it? C-L-A-R-I-F-Y. Now, how many syllables do you hear in the word clarify? Clarify. 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 3, right? Okay, where's the stress on this word? Clarify. First one or second one? Okay, watch me. Watch me. Is it clarify or clarify? Which one? Okay, show me. Show me. Well, show me which is right. Right. Which one is right? Clarify. Good. Again. Show me again. Very nice. Clarify. Okay, so clarify means to make clear, to make something clear. How do you spell clear? C-L-E-A-R. Right. So maybe this is the simplest word. The word you learned earlier is something clear. I always ask you, is this clear or not clear? How about the weather? Is today a clear day or is it a cloudy day? How about your window? Oh, today's very clear. We're lucky. It's very sunny today, isn't it? Okay, so how about the windows on your automobile? Are they clear or are they dirty? Are they foggy? All right, clear or unclear. If something that you want to know is unclear to you, then don't just go, I don't understand. You ask questions, right? You want to clarify the points that are not clear, so you can ask for clarification. You ask some questions that the answer will clarify the meaning of something that's not clear to you. All right, so we have a lot of possibilities, and I give you some suggestions of how to ask these questions. So the first example is, did the lecturer say da 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 da? Okay, so we use this pattern if we're talking to our classmates, talking to each other. Say, no, the lecturer spoke, but I don't remember everything. I think I heard this. Did the lecturer say that, da, 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 da? So that's one possible way that you can start a question. And we can say, for example, did the lecturer say that music brings people together? Repeat.
Did the lecturer say that music brings people together?
Let's try that again. Did the lecturer say that music brings people together?
Did the lecturer say that music brings people together?
Okay, good, good. If you can ask a question like that, then somebody can say, how should we answer that question?
Yes.
How should we answer the question?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He said, he did. Yes, he did. Short answer. And long answer, he said that music brings people together. All right? Let's say, yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
He said
He said
that music
that music
brings people together.
brings people together.
Okay, how do we ask that question? Ask the question again. Did the lecturer say that music brings people together? Good, all right. Now, how about number 2? In this case, sometimes you're not sure of the word because your ears are not so good with English and you get words mixed up. Does that ever happen to you? For example, you don't know, did the teacher say major or measure? Right? Because maybe in some of your ears, you don't hear clearly major or measure. But if you are English speaker, maybe that's very easy for you. But you're non-native speaker, you get mixed up. Does that happen to you sometimes?
Yes.
So this is a good kind of question. Did the teacher say or This is the pattern where you choose 2 things because you're not sure between the 2 options. So in this example, we have the 2 words major and measure. All right, let me hear you say major. Measure. Did the teacher say major or measure? Ask again. Did the teacher say major or measure? Good. All right, that's a good kind of question that will help you get the answer. Now, do you know the answer to this question? Do you know? Yes. Do you know the answer? Yes, you do. Okay. So what is the answer? The teacher said major. Right. The teacher said major. Okay. Let me help you with the word say and the past tense said. Look at my mouth. A say. Said. Good. All right. Do you have your mirror? Because if you look in your mirror, you can see the difference very clearly. If you put the mirror in front of your lovely lips, you can see much better. If you keep your mirror in your backpack, not too much help. So always have your mirror ready. Okay, let's say that question again. Did the teacher say major or measure?
Did the teacher say
He said major. Major points. Not measure. He didn't say measure. He said major. Good. Tell me the question again. Ask again.
Did the teacher say major or measure?
Very good. So the pattern you want to remember is, did the teacher say A or B? Did the teacher say X or Y? You have 2 options. Okay, now sometimes we don't ask a direct question. We repeat some information that we heard. And then at the end, we can ask, is that right? So here's the example. So people who sing together feel a strong relationship to each other. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, don't answer the question. Don't answer the question. We want to concentrate on asking the question. All right? So our purpose here is not answering, but asking. So I want you to be able to ask. All right? So we're going to say the statement, and then we'll ask, is that right? Afterwards. So we say something that we think we heard, the way we understood this. We say that sentence, and afterwards we say, is that right? So here's the example I want you to repeat. So people who sing together feel a strong relationship to each other. Is that right? Repeat.
So people who sing together feel a strong relationship with each other. Is that right?
Good. All right, let's try it again. Let's say it together. So, people who sing together feel a strong relationship to each other. Is that right? Very good question. Now, you know the answer, right? Now you can tell me the answer.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, that's right. People who sing together feel a strong relationship to each other. Good. All right. Very nice. Now, let's take a look at the master student tip. If you want to be a really strong student, a master student, let's take a look at this advice. That's what a tip is, right? It gives you some information that can make your learning a lot better. So, ask questions. Ask questions. Ask questions. Why? Why should a student ask questions? Because asking questions when you don't understand something makes what right? Makes the speaker repeat or clarify an idea for you. Do you want to have a clear idea? Yes. Okay, so sometimes when you don't understand something, you do this. That's not very helpful. But if you raise your hand and ask the question, then the speaker, maybe your teacher, can clarify, can repeat, can explain for you. And then you get more information. So that's a good thing, okay? How come I have bubbles on my screen? Okay, that's just for fun. Okay. Now, let's take a look at the next one. On page 21, we have asking about spelling, pronunciation, grammar, or vocabulary. Okay, so sometimes you're asking about vocabulary or some language. So I guess we have bubbles, but now we don't. Maybe because I didn't touch my mouse for a while. All right, I'm touching my mouse now, and now you can see on page 21 on the screen, okay? And then you can see that also in your book. So we have some examples. So if you ask a question, somebody will give you an answer. If you don't know how to spell a word, you should say, how do you spell How do you spell whatever you want to spell? So here's our example. How do you spell access? Repeat.
How do you spell access?
Again. How do you spell access? Again. How do you spell access? Okay. Sometimes we use the word you to mean you, one person. Sometimes we need to use the word you to mean all of you. Okay, so you need to do your homework. What does that mean? One person or many people?
Many.
I think many of you, all of you, right? But sometimes we use you as third person that is maybe neutral and in general. So if we say, how do you spell, we don't mean, how do you spell, right? We don't mean that. We mean, how is this word, how does anyone spell the word? So it's very common for us to use the word you, but we don't say you, we say y. So we make it very weak. We don't say, how do you spell the word? Because you say, oh, I spell the word this way, but she spells it another way. That would be very strange, right? Okay, but if we ask you, where do you live? Well, I live here and she lives there. That would make sense because that's personal. But this is impersonal you. So we don't say you, we say y. How do you? How do you? How do you spell? How do you spell? How do you? How do you spell? How do you spell access?
How do you spell access?
All right, ask me.
How do you spell access?
Well, when I answer this question, I can use the word you in the impersonal, and I can say, you spell it, you spell access, A-C-C-E-S-S. You spell access, A-C-C-E-S-S. So notice that the question uses y, and the answer can also use y, because it doesn't mean I and you. It means impersonal you or y when we say it in pronunciation in oral English. Okay, I'm going to ask you and you answer me. Excuse me, how do you spell access?
How do you spell access?
No. Let's try it again. I'm asking, you know the answer, please tell me the answer, all right? Excuse me, how do you spell access? Very nice. I heard a very good pronunciation when you said you spell, not you spell, but you spell access, A-C-C-E-S-S. Now, notice that when you spell something orally, it's a good idea to pay attention to the syllables. Remember the dot in our dictionary? What should we do? We shouldn't say A-C-C dot. We could just say A-C dot. No, don't say the dot. What we do is just a little pause, a short pause. So not A-C-C-C, but A-C-C-E-S-S. Then it's easy for the listeners to understand one syllable and the next syllable. Okay? So let's try that again. Excuse me, how do you spell access? All right, thank you. Some of you gave me a very good answer, and some of you simply repeated my question, which was not what I asked you to do. All right, let's try the difference between ask and answer. What's the difference? Ask is ask a question, and answer means give a sentence. Okay, let's go to number two. Number two. We're going to ask a question about pronunciation. Now, I want you to look at the word pronounce. The word pronounce is a verb and it's spelled P-R-O-N-O-U-N-C-E. Pronounce, ow. O-U is pronounced ow, pronounce. That's the verb. But the noun is nun, pronun. P-R-O-N-U-N-C-I-A-T-I-O-N. So it's not pronunciation, it's pronunciation. All right? So notice the difference in the spelling and in the pronunciation. And it's important, if you are going on the web and you want to find my videos, you can go to the quick link in Angel, or you can type youtube.com/user/pronunciation doctor. You have to spell it correctly. If you spell it correctly, then you'll get the right one. All right, now, if you want to ask a question about pronunciation, you can say, how do you pronounce M-A-J-O-R? How do you pronounce M-A-J-O-R? Repeat. How do you pronounce M-A-J-O-R? And notice that I spelled with a little bit of pause between the first syllable M-A and the second syllable J-O-R. Ask me again, please. How do you pronounce M-A-J-O-R? Oh, you pronounce this word major. Major.
You pronounce this word major.
You pronounce it major. Major. Okay, so it's a good thing to ask this question of somebody who speaks very well, because then they can give you good pronunciation. Okay? Of course, you can always look online at dictionary.com and click on the pronunciation for a word and hear it over and over again. Or some of you have a little dictionary or a CD with the sounds on it too. Number three. Let's look at number three. So in this sentence, which part of speech is calm, a verb or an adjective? So this question is asking about the part of speech, because sometimes a word is a noun, sometimes it's a verb, and its function changes depending on the sentence. So when you're not sure, you might ask your classmate or your friend or your teacher, when you're looking at this word, in this sentence, which part of speech is calm? A verb or an adjective? Repeat.
In this sentence, which part of speech is calm? A verb or an adjective?
Again.
In this sentence, which part of speech is calm?
A verb or an adjective. Okay, so if we go back to sentence number 10, on the previous page, we can see a lullaby makes babies calm down. So if we ask the question, in this sentence, which part of speech is calm? A verb or an adjective? Do you know the answer?
Yes.
What is the answer?
A verb.
Adjective.
In this sentence,
In this sentence,
calm is a verb.
calm is a verb. Right. A lullaby makes babies calm down. That's definitely a verb. Sometimes it's an adjective, but here it's a verb. So if you understand the grammar of the sentence, you already marked A, that's pattern A. Pattern A is for the verb. So we can say, oh, in this sentence, it's a verb. How about if I say the sentence, I feel relaxed and calm? In this sentence, is calm a verb or an adjective?
In this sentence, calm is an adjective.
In this sentence, calm is an adjective. Very good. I feel calm, I am calm, and relaxed. All right, so you can see the word has more than one function depending on the sentence. So sometimes you need to ask this question about the part of speech. All right, let's look at number 4. Sometimes you know that you studied a word, but you can't remember the word itself. Maybe you say, I forgot. What's that word? You know, the word that means to center your attention on something. What did we learn? We learned a vocabulary word. What's the word? The one that means to center your attention on something? Maybe you know the answer to this. Do you know the answer?
Yes.
Who knows the answer? Raise your hand if you know the answer. Okay, I see a few fingers. How about hands? You can put your hands up high. Don't be afraid to put your hands up high. Okay, good. Thank you. Some of you have an answer. And some of you go like, huh? Did we study any vocabulary in this class? Okay, let's pretend that you know you studied a word and you know the meaning, but you forgot the word itself. So let's practice the question and then we'll talk about the answer. Say, I forgot.
I forgot.
What's the word
What's the word
that means
that means
to center your attention on something?
to center your attention on something?
I forgot. What's the word that means to center your attention on something?
I forgot. What's the word that means to center your attention on something?
All right, who can give the answer? All right, what's the answer? Susan.
To enter your attention.
Not
on
to
something
enter, but to
means
center.
To center your attention on something means focus.
To center your attention on something is focus. Focus, very good. Did you have that word too? Great, wonderful. Right, to focus. That means to center your attention on something. And when we do it with a camera, like this one that I'm showing you on the screen over there, I have my document camera, and I can use the focus button to make it, make sure that I can see you very clearly, or that the camera can see the material very clearly to project to you. And when I'm making videos of myself, I want to make sure that the videos are focusing on me so you can see my mouth and how to pronounce the words. Right, to focus. Okay, focus your attention. Focus. Focus. Not focus. 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 Okay, so these are asking about the meaning, about the word itself, about the missing vocabulary word. You know the definition, but you don't know the word. Then you can ask this question. Number 5, suppose you see a word, but you don't know what it means. You don't know its definition. Then you follow this pattern. What does mean? What does mean? And in the you put the word that you want somebody to explain. For example, what does alter mean? Repeat.
What does alter mean?
What does focus mean?
What does focus mean?
What does major mean?
What does major mean?
What does access mean?
What does access mean?
So you need to know this pattern and practice it very often, because I often hear students want to know the meaning of a word, but they say with bad grammar. What means it, teacher, huh? Access? Oh, my ears hurt. Okay, so practice. What does mean?
What does mean?
What does access mean?
What does access mean?
What does focus mean? What does alter mean? All right, does anybody know the answer to this question? What does alter mean? Yes.
The word alter means to change or make different, modify.
Very good. Okay, good. I want you to say means. Means. Yes. The word alter means
The word
alter,
alter means
to change, to change,
change
or
or make different.
different. To modify. Very good. Right. For example, if your sleeves are too long, you need to alter them, cut them a little bit, and then sew them up a little bit shorter. If your dress is too wide, then you have to alter it and tighten it and make it come. Or maybe it's too tight, you need to lose weight. That cannot alter the dress. You have to alter your shape. All right, so to alter means to change something. Okay, any questions on that? All right. Let's look at the next section called asking for repetition. Now we have the word repetition. How many syllables do you hear in the word repetition? Repetition. Repetition has 4. Repetition has 4 syllables. Where's the stress in this word? Repetition. 2 or 3? Okay, watch me. Which is correct? Repetition or repetition? Okay, show me. Nice. Repetition. Repetition. All right. I'll give you a really big and helpful clue. Anytime you see ishin or Asian or ocean, then you have this stress pattern. You stress the word before the shun. Okay, so for example, ammunition, ignition, all right? So information, conversation, right? Pollution. So we have the stress in the same place. Ocean, ishin, Asian, we have to stress on that syllable, okay? So repetition. What part of speech is repetition? What part of speech? Noun. It's a noun. It's a noun. Anything ishin, Asian, ocean is going to be a noun, right? Okay, what's the verb? Repeat. How do you spell it?
R-E-P-E-A-T.
Okay, write it down. R-E-P-E-A-T. How many syllables? 2. Repeat. 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 2, 2. Okay, so syllables, the 2 syllables, and you stress the second. R-E-P-E-A-T. So write down repeat, and that's a verb, because that belongs to the same family. When you learn a word, you need to meet its family members also. Then you get to know the word better. Just like when you meet your friend, then you get to know your friend's sisters and brothers and mother and father, you know your friend even better, right? So same thing about vocabulary. You learn a word and you want to meet its family members. If they belong to the same family, you will understand the word much better. So repetition and repeat belong to the same word family. So you need to know that they're related. So when we ask for repetition, it means we want someone to repeat the information for us. Maybe they repeat exactly the same words, or maybe they repeat the idea but say it in a different way. Now here's one very common and easy way to ask. We can say, could you say that word again, please?
Could you say that word again, please?
So maybe it's just one word that you need to hear. And listen to the pronunciation. We don't say could you, we say could you, could you, could you, could you, could you. Could you say? Could you say? Could you say that word? Could you say that word again? Could you say that word again, please? All right, good. That's a very good word, a good sentence for you to practice. And also, did you see in my notebook, on my book, I wrote some other words here that belong to the family of repetition, 4-3. Repeat is the verb 2-2. We also have adjective repeated. So maybe you made one request, or maybe you made many requests, and you're trying to get technical assistance, and you made repeated requests. So that means repeated is used as an adjective in that sentence. And we also have repeatedly. I repeatedly ask my students to do their homework. That's my job as a teacher. But your job is to do it, right? So if you repeatedly do your homework, you will learn a lot. All right, those are words that belong to the same family. And we asked the first question, could you say that word again? And in number 2, we're going to ask this question about repeating not just one word, but a sentence. Maybe you heard somebody say, blah, 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 and then you missed part of it. Even native speakers need to do that. So many times I'm on the phone and I'm listening to somebody tell me, da 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 da, your appointment time is da da da, and you have to meet at whatever building, and da da da, you have to bring this with you, and I'm taking notes. So I often ask this question too. So it's not just for non-native speakers, it's for you, for all of us to ask the question. Let's try this one. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Would you repeat the last sentence?
Would you repeat the last sentence?
All right, let's hear it. Excuse.
Excuse.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Would you?
Would you?
Would you repeat? The last sentence.
The last sentence.
The last sentence.
The last sentence.
Not sentence. Sentence. Second syllable, weak, short. Not sentence. Sentence. See? Look in your mirror. Look in your mirror. Strong and then weak. Not sentence, but sentence. Look at your mirror. Look at your mirror. Make sure your mouth is making big, small. Sentence. All right, some of you are saying sentence. You're going clear, clear. Don't do that. Make the second syllable weak. Sentence. Okay, very nice. The last sentence.
The last sentence.
Would you repeat the last sentence?
Would you repeat the last sentence?
Excuse me, would you repeat the last sentence?
Excuse me, would you repeat the last sentence?
Okay, then the person knows which part to repeat, and then we'll say there's the last part. Now, number 3. Now, sometimes people speak very fast, or maybe you just listen very slowly. Okay? And you can control a conversation. If someone is talking to you a little bit too fast, you can say, I'm sorry. Could you speak more slowly, please? I'm sorry. Could you speak more slowly, please? Okay, do you remember this? Could you? Could you? Could you? Could you? Could you? Could you speak?
Could you speak
more slowly?
more slowly?
Please.
Please.
Excuse me, or I'm sorry. You could say that at the beginning. I'm sorry, because maybe the person is talking very fast, and I'm sorry is a sort of a nice way to stop them without being too harsh. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Could you speak more slowly, please?
Could you speak more slowly, please?
I'm sorry. Could you speak more slowly, please?
I'm sorry. Could you speak more slowly, please?
Okay, now, here's another one. Suppose somebody is speaking like this. All right, so if I'm speaking to you with my small voice like this, and you can't hear me very well, what should you say to me? When you get on your speak? What could you say? I can't hear you. Would you speak more loudly, please? All right. I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Would you speak more loudly, please?
Would you speak more loudly, please?
Loudly.
Loudly.
Would you speak more loudly, please?
Would you speak more loudly, please?
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Would you speak more loudly, please?
Would you speak more loudly, please?
Okay, good. All right. So, now, sometimes people speak like this and they're speaking to each other. It's really very noisy and you're sitting in the library and you're trying to do your homework and they're going, "Gah, gah, 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 gah." What can you tell them?
Would you be quiet?
Would you speak
You want to tell them to speak more slowly? Gah, 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 gah. No, not more slowly. More
more quiet?
softly, more quietly, more softly, more quietly. Okay? That would be nice for you, right? Maybe you can say, I'm trying to study. I'm trying to study. Let's say that.
I'm trying to study.
Would you speak more softly, please?
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 Would you speak more quietly, please?
Would you speak more quietly, please?
Or maybe you're trying to record your voice. I'm trying to record my voice. Would you speak more quietly, please?
I'm trying
To record my voice, would you speak more quietly, please?
Good. Okay. All right. So those are some that you can ask somebody when you want to know. All right. So let's review this. Asking for clarification means what? What does asking for clarification mean? You want them to repeat? No, that's not it. You want repetition, you want clarification, two different things. What is asking for clarification? Try again. You want to understand something more clearly. You understood only a little bit, but it's not clear to you. You want to also, maybe you want to confirm that, you know what it means to confirm something? You're not sure, to make sure. You want to confirm that you got it right. So you're talking to your classmates and you want to make sure, you want to confirm. All right? Or maybe you're calling up the appointment and say, I want to make sure, is my appointment tomorrow at 10 o'clock or 10:30? Oh, 10:30? All right, I'll see you tomorrow. So you confirm, you make sure of the information. You ask for clarification to make something clearer for you. So sometimes you use these sentences, these questions, to ask your teacher or to ask your classmates. Now, what about questions about vocabulary? How do you ask the question if you don't know the meaning of a word? What do you say? You don't know the meaning of the word minor, for example. How do you ask the question?
What does minor mean?
What does minor mean? Okay, very good. How about you know the word, you can say the word, but you don't know how to spell the word. For example, individual.
How do you spell individual?
How do you spell individual?
How do you spell individual?
Right, that's good. And then I can tell you INDIVIDUAL. I can give you the answer. Now, suppose you see a word, but you don't know how to pronounce that word. You see RHYTHM, but you don't know how to pronounce it. What do you say? How do you pronounce this word RHYTHM? And then I can tell you, you pronounce it rhythm. Right. Okay. Now, suppose you know the meaning, the definition of a word, and you know you learned the word, but you can't bring it out of your memory, and you don't have your book with you to look it up, or you don't know where to find it, so you ask your friend. And you know that you learned a word that means to hurt or to cause damage. What can you ask?
What's the word that means to hurt?
What's the word that means to hurt or to damage? Right. What's that word? What's the word? I forgot. What's the word that means to hurt or damage? And your friend tells you? Injure. Oh, yes, injure. I remember that word now. Good. Okay. Now, when you ask about a word because you know that maybe it's a noun sometimes and maybe it's a verb sometimes. Maybe it's an adjective time. You want to ask about the part of speech. Good. We call it the part of speech. Even though it's a grammar thing, we call that a part of speech. Let's say a part of speech. Part of speech. What part of speech? Which part of speech? What part of speech is this? Okay, so the question, you see a word and you see in the sentence, all right? And you can see the focus of the lesson is on music. So you want to look at the word focus. How do you ask the question about the word focus? You say, in this sentence, what part of speech is focus? A verb or a noun? Right, okay, so if we say the focus of this lesson is on music, the answer is focus is a noun in this sentence. That's good. Okay. Now retelling the lecture. Do you know what retelling means? Let's look at part 2.